In this video, I'll show you how to use Notion buttons, what they actually do, and how they can save you time by automating repetitive actions inside your workspace. First, here's the key idea. Notion buttons are built to run actions when you click them. Notion's Help Center says buttons can create content, add pages, edit database entries, open pages or URLs, send webhooks, and more. In other words, a button is like a shortcut that performs one or several steps for you with a single click. To add a normal button to a page, create a button block in Notion, then choose what you want it to do. Notion's Buttons Guide explains that you can set actions such as adding blocks, creating pages, opening a page or URL, or showing a confirmation before the action runs. That makes buttons useful for things like adding meeting notes templates, or generating recurring checklists, or sending someone to an important page instantly. For example, you could make a button called New Meeting Notes that creates a ready-made notes section with headings and action items. Or you could make a button called Open Project Hub that takes you straight to your main dashboard. Notion also says you can stack multiple actions into one button, so one click can do more than one thing in sequence. Now, if you want buttons inside a database, Notion supports that too with something called a database button property. Notion's Help Center says you can create one by opening your database, selecting the slider icon, choosing Edit Properties, then New Property, and then Button. After that, you add a label and edit the automation behind it. This is especially useful for task tracking and workflows. For instance, you could add a button property called Complete that changes a task's status, updates other properties, or triggers additional actions. Notion's database button documentation says you can select Edit Automation, add a new action, and save it so the button runs that action directly from each row. Another useful thing to know is that some button actions depend on your plan. Notion says Send Webhook is only available on paid plans, and Slack notification actions are available on Plus, Business, and Enterprise plans. So if you don't see certain options, it may be a plan limitation rather than a setup problem. A smart way to use Notion buttons is to automate the things you repeat all the time. Good examples are creating weekly reports, approving tasks, escalating issues, adding standard page sections, or opening frequently used resources. That practical advice fits the kinds of button workflows Notion highlights in its own guides, especially around approvals, edits, and content generation. So to use Notion buttons, add a button block or database button, choose the action you want it to perform, and use it to automate repeated work with one click. Hope the tutorial was helpful. Subscribe to my channel and see you in the next video.